Unseen thanks to extreme stealth, these monsters slice across the sky at hypersonic speed, then unleash torrents of fire and steel, erasing enemy positions while defenders can only watch. Radar can't catch them. Interceptors can't close. In the minutes that follow, the battlefield drowns under precision strikes, and the people targeted stand powerless, unable to do anything to stop the catastrophe racing straight at them. This vivid imagery captures the essence of modern stealth bombing, where technology renders traditional defenses obsolete. The B-21 Raider, as the pinnacle of this evolution, builds on decades of lessons from its predecessor, the B-2 Spirit, which first demonstrated such capabilities during operations in Kosovo and Iraq. By incorporating advanced materials, like radar-absorbent composites and fly-by-wire systems refined over years, the Raider pushes the boundaries further, ensuring that its radar cross-section remains smaller than that of a bird in most frequency bands. The B-21's design also emphasizes survivability through low observability across multiple spectra, including infrared and acoustic signatures, achieved via shaped exhaust nozzles and active cooling systems. This multispectral stealth is crucial in an era where adversaries deploy integrated air defense systems (IADS) that fuse data from diverse sensors to paint a comprehensive threat picture. That's exactly what could unfold in one scenario. The U.S. Air Force sends the B-21 Raider to strike China, a bomber touted to become the most powerful in the world. It would cement American air dominance and might even reshape global power. To understand this potential shift, consider the broader geopolitical context. The Indo-Pacific region has become the focal point of great power competition, with China's rapid military modernization challenging the post-World War II order dominated by the United States. The B-21 is not just a weapon, it's a strategic statement designed to penetrate the most sophisticated anti-access divided by area denial, A2 divided by AD, environments that China has meticulously constructed over the past 2 decades. This includes layered defenses, integrating satellites, over-the-horizon radars, and hypersonic weapons, all aimed at keeping U.S. forces at bay beyond the first island chain. China's A2 divided by AD strategy extends to cyber and space domains, with capabilities to disrupt GPS satellites or launch directed energy weapons against airborne assets. The B-21 counters this through hardened avionics and alternative navigation systems like terrain contour matching, TERCOM, and celestial aids, ensuring mission continuity even under electronic attack. The B-21 Raider is still in limited production, with initial aircraft expected to enter service by 2027. So the scenario we're exploring leans on assumptions favorable to the United States. And to strike a country as vast as China, even with selective strategic targets, America would likely need a large B-21 force to matter, on the order of about 100 bombers. This fleet size requirement stems from operational realities. A single bomber, no matter how advanced, can only carry a finite payload estimated at up to 30,000 pounds for the B-21, including a mix of Joint Direct Attack Munitions (JDAMs), Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff Missiles (JASSM-ER), and potentially future hypersonic weapons. To achieve decisive effects across China's 3.7 million square miles, strikes would need to synchronize across multiple axes: command nodes in Beijing, missile silos in the interior, naval bases along the coast, and industrial hubs in the east. Historical precedents, like the Allied bombing campaigns in World War II, required hundreds of aircraft. Modern precision reduces numbers but demands redundancy against attrition and electronic warfare. Precision-guided munitions allow for surgical strikes, but electronic warfare could degrade GPS accuracy, necessitating inertial guidance backups. The B-21's payload flexibility includes massive ordnance penetrators like the GBU-57 for hardened targets, ensuring it can neutralize underground facilities, housing command centers, or nuclear assets. Based on today's realities, most analysts, American, Chinese, and neutral, argue that in the South China Sea, and the waters and airspace around China, Beijing holds a major home field advantage despite extensive U.S. basing. Specifically, former Indo-PACOM chiefs ADAM Harry B. Harris Jr. and ADAM Philip Davidson warned the Senate Armed Services Committee that China's land-based missiles threaten U.S. carriers and regional bases due to their reach, speed, and overall performance. These warnings highlight specific systems, like the DF-21D and DF-26 carrier killers, which boast ranges exceeding 1,500 kilometers and maneuverable re-entry vehicles to evade interceptors. U.S. carriers operating from locations like Yokosuka in Japan or Guam would face salvos that could saturate Aegis defenses. Harris and Davidson's testimonies, delivered in 2018 and 2021 respectively, underscored the erosion of U.S. qualitative edges, prompting investments in dispersed basing and agile combat employment to mitigate these threats. Agile combat employment involves rotating forces through multiple airfields to avoid concentration. A tactic refined in exercises like Pacific Iron, where B-1 and B-52 bombers practiced hot pit refueling at remote strips. In a 2022 Stimson Center webinar, U.S. Marine Corps Assistant Commandant General Eric Smith acknowledged that sustaining a prolonged fight in East Asia is a logistics hurdle for the United States. Combine that with China's large, diverse air defense network, and you see why Western wargames, RAND, and CSIS often stop short of a decisive U.S. victory. Logistics in the Pacific Theater involve transoceanic supply lines vulnerable to submarine and missile attacks. The U.S. relies on preposition stocks and airlift, but fuel, munitions, and spares for a high-intensity conflict could deplete rapidly. China's air defenses, including HQ-9 batteries integrated with early warning radars and passive sensors, create overlapping kill zones. RAND's 2016 wargame simulated U.S. losses of dozens of aircraft in the opening days, while CSIS's 2023 Taiwan scenario projected heavy attrition on both sides without clear resolution, emphasizing escalation risks. These wargames incorporate variables like cyber intrusions, disrupting command links, and anti-satellite operations, blinding reconnaissance, highlighting the need for resilient communications via low Earth orbit constellations like Starlink analogs. Still, the B-21 Raider is central to America's effort to tilt the balance against China. In parallel, the U.S. is fielding fresh operational concepts: EABO, Distributed Maritime Operations, and Fleet Overload. From partner-held islands across the South and East China Seas, small, mobile littoral regiments hard to spot could launch long-range strikes against Chinese networks. Expeditionary Advanced Base Operations, EABO, envision Marines deploying to austere sites on islands like Palau or the Philippines, using HIMARS rocket artillery for anti-ship roles. Distributed Maritime Operations, DMO, disperse naval forces to complicate targeting, while Fleet Overload saturates enemy sensors with decoys and unmanned systems. These concepts draw from exercises like RIMPAC, where Allied forces practice seamless integration. RIMPAC involves over 25 nations, simulating multi-domain operations where air, sea, and land forces coordinate via Joint All-Domain Command and Control, JADC2, a network-centric approach to fuse sensor data in real time. Uncrewed surface vessels pick up the load, freeing crewed ships to focus on big fleet operations. Add Rapid Dragon, heavy lifters C-130J, Hercules MC-130J, Commando II, C-17 Globemaster III deploy palletized salvos by the dozens, overwhelming China's radars, sensors, and kill chain. Inside that wider playbook, the B-21 Raider is the point man neutralizing and punching through the A2 divided by AD shield. Rapid Dragon, tested successfully in 2021, allows cargo aircraft to release cruise missiles from standoff ranges, turning transports into arsenal ships. This multiplies strike options economically. The B-21 complements this by conducting suppression of enemy air defenses, SEAD, missions, using electronic attack pods to jam radars and launch anti-radiation missiles like the AGM-88 HARM variants. SEAD missions would prioritize high-value emitters, using the B-21's onboard sensors to geolocate and prioritize targets, supported by escorting F-35s providing additional jamming and kinetic kills. Specifically, the raiders can punch through China's defensive belts and begin ground attacks to wreck critical infrastructure, just like the scenario teased at this video's start. With deep stealth and nuclear carriage, the B-21 is built for day one in a China fight, cutting response time anywhere across the Indo-Pacific. So what must the Raider beat to do what it was born to do, deliver crippling blows and drown the enemy in destruction? Day one employment is critical in peer conflicts to seize initiative. The B-21's open architecture allows rapid integration of new weapons, ensuring adaptability against evolving threats like quantum radars or AI-directed defenses. Quantum radars, still experimental, promise to detect stealth by entangling photons, though practical deployment remains years away. AI could optimize interceptor patrols based on predictive analytics. As the simulation lays out, the Raider must clear 4 major defense layers to pull off a mainland raid. First, and oddly, the easiest is distance. Beijing's play is simple. Build missiles that outrange what the US and allies can answer with, park them on artificial islands, and turn that reach into a hard deterrent against American sea and air power. Artificial islands in the Spratlys, equipped with runways and missile silos, extend China's sensor envelope. Yet, the B-21's global range, over 6,000 nautical miles, unrefueled bypasses forward vulnerabilities, enabling strikes from unexpected vectors. Still, with intercontinental reach, even launches from North American bases put the B-21 over Chinese airspace within a few hours. It can refuel in mid-air when needed, and from Guam or the Philippines, the time to target drops even further. The second layer, and arguably the most critical of China's defenses, is its advanced radar network. China operates a dense grid of VHF and UHF radars that exploit lower frequencies for stealth detection, complemented by passive bistatic systems using civilian signals. Although the B-21's radar signature is tiny, certain PLA sensors can still catch a whisper, especially during aerial refueling. China's YLC-8E anti-stealth set is a tough matchup, reportedly tracking aircraft beyond to 311 miles. It's unclear whether the Raider's shaping and materials can glide past YLC-8E unseen, much less push deep inland. The third layer is a broad, tiered missile network on land, at sea, and launched from fighters and bombers. This includes mobile launchers that relocate after firing, complicating, targeting, and ship-based systems like the Type 052D destroyer's vertical launch cells. That stack includes Russia's S-400, reaching roughly 249 miles, and credited with some ability to queue on low observable aircraft. China also fields its indigenous HQ-9. This medium to long-range SAM can engage fighters, cruise missiles, air-to-surface weapons, and tactical ballistic missiles, pushing Mach 4.2, about 124 miles of reach, and ceilings near 98,000 feet. In sufficient numbers with radars intact, HQ-9 batteries could seriously challenge the B-21. Integration via data links allows queuing from airborne early warning aircraft, creating a fused picture that the B-21 must disrupt with standoff jammers. Standoff jammers, like the next-generation jammer on Growlers, would support creating corridors for the B-21 to exploit. Finally, the most dangerous piece for the B-21 is the PLAF's stealth fighter arm J-20S now, and possibly J-31B soon, billed as a rival to the F-35 Lightning II. China is also developing its own stealth bomber, the H-20. Public details remain scarce, from its first tease in September 2016 through March 2024. The J-20, with over 200 in service, features super cruise and advanced avionics, potentially vectoring to intercept intruders using beyond visual range missiles like the PL-15. A Chinese official has said the H-20 will be unveiled soon, with major development hurdles behind them. In 2023, a Chinese research team ran a computer simulation suggesting the H-20 could defeat a B-21 in a duel, thanks to missiles with unpredictable trajectories. Even so, the United States seems largely unfazed by China's future bomber. U.S. assessments point to challenges in engine reliability and stealth coatings for the H-20, lagging behind Northrop Grumman's mature supply chain. According to an unnamed Pentagon intelligence official, the H-20's design trails U.S. counterparts, especially the advanced systems already in service. Beijing still wrestles with key engineering hurdles to make it behave like a B-2 or B-21. That source also doubts China's coming soon claim, noting a reveal wouldn't guarantee the capability or fleet size the PLA needs. Bottom line, the B-21 Raider remains a cutting-edge bomber built for high-end strategic tasks. Its modular design supports unmanned variants in the future, extending its relevance amid drone swarms and AI. Even so, the United States would need a fleet of at least 100 B-21s to pose a serious threat to China. Hence, U.S. air power analysts call for a major production ramp to deliver the long-range punch required in the Indo-Pacific. Hitting schedule and budget means doubling the build rate while pushing costs down, pressure that falls hard on the defense industrial base. Current plans aim for 100-plus aircraft at under $700 million each, leveraging digital engineering to accelerate from the B-2's protracted development. Meanwhile, some contend the U.S. military is pushing up against its limits after pouring vast resources into programs. The payoff often looks like an inefficient tangle. That may sound alarmist, but repeated R&D stumbles and chronic cost overruns make skepticism about the B-21 hitting its schedule anything but unfounded. Programs like the F-35 faced similar delays, yet delivered. The B-21 benefits from risk reduction via prototypes flown in secrecy. More importantly, even if a large B-21 force launches, success is far from guaranteed. Ultimately, deterrence may prevail, with the B-21 symbolizing resolve without firing a shot, much like nuclear bombers during the Cold War. Yet in any hot conflict, its role would be pivotal, threading the needle between escalation and decisive impact. In essence, the B-21 embodies the high-stakes gamble of air power in peer competition. A tool for both warfighting and war prevention, its true test lying not in simulations, but in the shadows of potential crisis. To translate doctrine into practice, planners would stage a Day Zero choreography long before takeoff, spoofing enemy sensors with decoy emissions, pre-positioning fuel bladders on remote strips, and tasking submarines to quietly scout tanker orbits. Counterseed is expected. Pop-up emitters, decoy radars, mobile launchers that sprint after firing. The answer is patience and layering, loitering munitions to chase relocates, passive sensors to catch brief illuminations, and time-on-target salvos that land faster than defenders can reconstitute. None of this happens in a vacuum. Domestic industry must surge composites, engines, seekers, and propellants, while the workforce scales specialized skills. Cost per effect becomes the governing metric. A standoff missile is expensive, but cheaper than losing a bomber or a base. For citizens far from the flight line, the lessons rhyme with daily life. Sequence the hard problems first, blind the eyes, protect the enablers, time, energy, logistics, and build backups before you need them. Clarity of aim, honest constraints, and flexibility under pressure. Those habits win projects the same way they win wars. If deterrence works, the B-21 never fires. Its presence alone narrows an adversary's appetites and buys diplomats room to work. But if crisis comes, success will look less like fireworks and more like silence. Sensors that see nothing, runways that stay cratered, and a window of hours where decisions, not just weapons, decide the future. So what do you think? If the B-21 flies into enemy airspace, and what will they do to stop us? Please comment below to discuss and share your views. See you in the next video.